My nose is so red. I look like Rudolph. But hey, it's been a while. So much has happened and changed in such a short amount of time for me. I've gone through such a range of emotions. I've gone through so many transitions already. And I just felt that it was time to share some of it. And here, I'm gonna turn off my car. I was really cold. I needed heat for a sec. But I feel as if I'm coming to a point where I'm finally starting to understand everything that I've integrated with all of my experiences. Hold on. Just double checking this video is working. But lately I've been kind of understanding love a little bit more. And I'm finally understanding that I am truly the only one who will ever love me for my entirety. And once this is accomplished, then the rest can do the same. But for the meantime, others cannot do that because they are stuck in their old karma, just like I, and they don't fully love themselves. And if nobody loves themselves fully, then we can't love each other unconditionally. And it's a process. It's a process of forgiving. And especially forgiving yourself, but forgiving others for not knowing how to love you. I keep finding myself reverting to old ways with letting people take advantage of me and just not allowing myself to be treated in a way that I feel that a divine person should be treated. And it's by my choice always. But that's only because I am not in a space of allowing myself to really enjoy my own power and purpose. Speaking of this, I'd like to tell you about my meditation that I had last night. It was similar to the one meditation that I put in the other video. But I had a really, really rough day, as it seems to always be lately. I wasn't being very accepting of myself, and I kept looking at the external world and justifying it and examining it as if I was being punished. Like others couldn't love me because I was doing something wrong, or because I'm not beautiful, or whatever it is. But I was in a really dark space of feeling really isolated and misunderstood. And I sat in my room just crying, and all of a sudden there was this presence, and it was like a sparkle and like a beam of light, kind of. And I was closing my eyes, and this presence was very strong and warm. But the most significant part was that this presence had a specific smell to it. It was definitely unearthly, but the closest thing I can relate some of the scent to was rose, with just other very organic and earthy smells. But it was a familiar one, and it felt like home. And I just kept thinking that this thing was angelic, and it was very, very motherly and nurturing. And I thought of Mother Mary, and this thing just kept telling me that it was my mother, and I knew it, and it knew me. And I was with it for a while. The scent, every time my thoughts started to get really hectic and unloving, the scent would get stronger and consume me. And then I drifted to another space. He's coming right by my car. It doesn't matter. I'm the only one judging myself. And then I went to another space where I visualized this door, and it was a spiritual and emotional door that I keep finding myself like standing behind it. And although it's an analogy, I feel this analogy is pretty much my life in a way. There is this door, and I keep waiting for someone to open it so that I can see what's on the other side. And last night I was exploring and examining the door, and I saw myself from an outer perspective, just standing there, few feet back, just waiting. And then I realized that I'm the only one who can open the door. So I don't really remember the process of me opening that door, but I did get to see what was on the other side. And through that vision, I recall having a dream of this scene, this reality. And it was more than a dream. It was a place I have truly existed before, but I opened it, and it was a vast ocean. It was dark, and the waters were extremely reflective, and I kept looking at the small little waves and the tides, and I'd go in and out of looking at the macro and the micro, the macro, the micro perspectives. And I got so focused on the micro perspectives at one point that I got lost in some of the stories. And then I had to remind myself of the analogy that I live by, that it's one body of water. Each little tide has its role. It is an individual at some level. But if we get attached, we forget the mass body. We forget the one spirit. But I dwelled in that place for a while, feeling a lot of bliss for knowing that I was always there, and that I'm just, this incarnation, this body is just a little tide, and that if I allow myself to open that door, there's unity. There it is. The ocean, the reflective waters, the darkness, the moon reflecting on it, everything is always there. I do often get lost in my own separateness. And it only furthers the confusion when I deem it as bad. The more and more I experience this, though, I'm realizing that this position is probably... No more sorries. Oh my gosh, I can't keep apologizing for everything. But the more and more I realize this individuality and how it's not a negative thing, I can forgive myself, and through that forgiveness, I allow myself to step into my own power, and my perception is clarified, it's purified. Everything keeps coming down to the one single aspect, and that is awareness. That's what existence is. Heaven and hell, you can go beyond it through awareness. Good and bad, black and white. There must be a balance, but there's something far, far beyond the duality. And that is just pure, absolute awareness of all that is. Knowing that it's all interconnected, yet it's all an illusion. And not even getting attached to that concept and just being aware of the concept of the concept of the concept. That's all that we can do. So, when I find myself in a state that doesn't seem to be as light, and I feel sorrow and pain towards myself and a lot of pity, I must just be aware of what it is, but not fight and say I need love, I need to change, because that's just that forces me to fall into this cycle. And although love temporarily heals, I get attached to it like anything. And so yes, the next step is love, but beyond the suffering is love, and beyond the love is just the awareness of everything. Yeah, I mean, John Lennon, what the heck, that was weird. There was a huge, flash of light. Where did that come from? Yeah, John Lennon and Yoko, they knew, love is the way, but it's just a stage like everything else. So what's beyond that? Peeling off more layers. Because with love, you have to have an opposite of that, right? Everything is relative. But if we find something that in itself, I don't even know how to describe it. Neutrality, is it? I guess, yeah, it's relative as well. Everything is relative. Non-neutrality and neutrality. But I'm finding that in this state of existence, in this very moment in time, neutrality is my next step. It's our next step, really. And what's beyond that? I don't know yet. But the most important thing is that I take my lesson, the wisdom that is emerged into me, and I just work with it, just in this moment. Because if I try to find out what's behind neutrality, then I'm missing the whole point. I hope this made sense. It's a lot of me just rambling. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And I can admit honestly and truthfully that I've still not found that place of peace and contentment, and I still suffer almost every day, and I still do things that are very, very detrimental to me. But I have to just keep forgiving and just being aware of it, just like a movie, just watch it, not get attached. And I'll know when I'm ready for the next thing. I'll know when the next door is there and I'm ready to walk through it. But like I said, we have to just take it moment to moment. That's all there is. That's really all there is. I really appreciate even the small amount of people watching and the positive and negative comments. This channel has actually really helped me in a lot of ways. And I apologize. No, I don't apologize, actually. I admit that I haven't been making as many videos lately because I've been very busy with other things in life, and that time will come and it'll go, like all things. But for now, I'm just grateful for the people who are appreciative of the things I upload, even though they're not consistent. Anyways, I hope everything is going well for the collective consciousness and that we are standing from a different perspective where we can see past the duality and just be aware of all things. And even if we're not at that, that's fine too. Thank you.